Central Florida,
Yeah.
maybe Oklahoma, Duke, but very close. Tennessee 5th, Louisville 6th, Columbia 7th, and then Penn in 8th there. So close battle for that 2 through 4 certainly. Let me just while we have a pause, the results from the finals, the C final of the varsity 8. Gonzaga won in 640.4. Navy was second in 644 flat. Oregon State was third in 646 flat. Minnesota was fourth, 647.3. Clemson was fifth in 648.5. And Cornell was sixth in 649.5. I'm sure the results from this one will be when we're watching to see how quickly they come up on the screen. So next we have the A final of the Varsity 8, 7-boat race, where this certainly is where people are fighting to get to for qualification, but also do a great job this weekend. You think the favorites would be in those middle lanes. Certainly Ohio State, Texas showed good speed. They were within, I think, a couple tenths yesterday, maybe a second or two if I remember correctly, in the afternoon session. So lane 1 will be Virginia, lane 2 Indiana, lane 3 Ohio State, lane 4 Texas, lane 5 Wisconsin, lane 6 Washington State, and lane 7 Syracuse. So it looks like we have a start in the A final of the first Varsity 8.
Yeah, it's fun. Like they said yesterday, the boats will be seated, so the boats with the faster times will be in the middle here, but it's almost always more fun for the athletes if you're racing on the outside, because you can kind of sneak in there and people aren't expecting maybe to see you make any moves, so you can kind of have a sneak attack on them and surprise them, which is always great for the athletes.
Yeah, and making to that point, it looks like the leaders are lanes 3, 4, and 6. So Texas with maybe a slight lead there on Wisconsin and Virginia, but very close. But let's put Virginia maybe a half a bat ball ahead of Wisconsin in that lane 4. But Texas a couple seats up. Not to be missed there in lanes 0, 1, and 2 is, let's see, Virginia, Indiana, Ohio State. Actually, I spoke those Syracuse who had that fast start. I apologize. Syracuse on the near side, lane 6 had that fast start. Lane 5. Looks like Washington State maybe slightly a couple seats back, but they certainly had I think the fourth fastest time in the second in the afternoon. So right now lane 3 Ohio State actually was the lead. I was reversed on the order there. I apologize. But I'm sorry, I'm still wrong. Texas here is the lead there. Lane 3, Texas lane 3, lane 4 Wisconsin right there. Now they've come back up, but a good battle across the board. All 7 boats. Fast starts, except maybe Washington State slightly behind there in lane 5. Through the first 500 here, let's give that lead to Texas, I believe that was, with a couple seats out.
Yeah, I think these are going to be some pretty close times. Yesterday, Texas and Ohio State were only a tenth off of each other, so we'll see what Ohio State does through the middle of the race and how Texas responds to it. And then the 4 other boats in this race were all within a couple seconds of each other, so this should, again, play out to be a pretty close race as we move down the course.
So Texas, let's say 6 seats up on the field, and then lane 2 looks like Ohio State now maybe just nudge themselves into second, maybe a seat ahead of Wisconsin, lane 4, and then you've got lanes 0, 1, and 6 all very close there for that 4th spot. Couldn't tell the difference from let's say 4th, 5th, 6th. Again, Washington State maybe just slightly out of the mix by maybe 5 or 6 seats, but way too early to call that to that margin. Texas stretching out to, let's say, an 8-seat lead there over Ohio State. Ohio State maybe a seat or 2 up on lanes on Wisconsin and Syracuse. So a little bit edge to Ohio State there, and then tight battle there for 5th and 6th with lanes 0 and 1, Virginia and Indiana. But Texas right now certainly showing their mettle in the varsity 8 race here, getting out to a quick early lead, able to see everyone in the field here.
Yeah, Texas has had a solid weekend across the board, so they're going to be looking to kind of put a stamp on the weekend with this race and see if they can come away with a win. But I think they're going to be given quite the fight here.
And maybe just during this third 500 here, with Texas the lead, quick times from the second race, the B final. UCLA won in 6:33.5, and then these 3 boats all within a tenth and a half.
Yeah.
Central Florida 6:34.4 or 6:34.35. Duke in third 6:34.468. Oklahoma in 4th, 6:34.525. Tennessee in 5th, 6:38.4. Louisville 6th, 6:39.9. Columbia 7th, 6:41.7. And Penn in 8th, 6:46.4. So back to the racing here. So again, Texas still in that lead. Looks like Ohio State clearly in second here. Syracuse making a good push there in that 3rd spot. Wisconsin, let's say 4th over there. Looks like Indiana, good battle there. Washington State's come back as well. Let's put them 5th and 6th maybe, and then maybe Virginia just off the pace there in 7th. But again, Texas in the lead here, good length over Ohio State, and Ohio State maybe 3/4 of length now over a good battle with Syracuse and Wisconsin for that 3rd spot. But no one's really out of the mix here, certainly from that, let's say 3rd through 7th, maybe 6 seats separating entirely between those 5 spots.
Yeah, the coxswains here will be asking the girls to dig pretty deep to try and find some more speed. We're in the last probably 600 or 700 meters at this point, so they're going to be looking to push into a better position here.
So Texas clearly in the lead now, trying to set themselves up for the rest of the spring, where with seeding across the country, but Texas likely to get that 1 seed in the varsity 8 from the Big 12 and then in the South. So Texas here clearly ahead. Ohio State clearly in 2nd. You see the battle ball of Syracuse. They've been in 3rd here for a while now. I'm trying to come back on Ohio State and separate themselves out from that Washington State, Indiana, Wisconsin mix there. So now in the last, I think, 300 or so, looks to be clearly 1st, 2nd, and then that 3rd battle, really have 4 boats across there from over the inside, Indiana, Wisconsin, Washington State, and Syracuse. Everyone they are really close. I couldn't tell you who's in that 2nd, or excuse me, in that 3rd spot.
Yeah.
So again, lead there. You see on the right of your screen, that's Texas. Open water up on Ohio State. Ohio State 2nd from the right. Colors kind of bleed together, the red and the orange here between all the programs. And then no one really way off it, but maybe Virginia just a little bit off that pace. But again, Texas open water up on Ohio State, maybe half length of water up. So dominating win by Texas in the varsity 8 race.
Yeah, Texas looking good here, moving well together. Just kind of freight train towards the finish line. It looks like it started to rain out there.
Yeah, and that's an interesting impact. It's okay if you're out there in rain.
Yeah,
if you've already started.
I always think the worst part is going out in it initially.
So Texas coming across the finish here. Last couple strokes there, good half length of water over Ohio State. Looks like I believe that's Washington State there at 3rd, Syracuse in 4th, Wisco in 5th by eye, Indiana, and then Virginia looks to be the finish order there. I'm a little bit tight on that. I think 4th, 5th spot. So just by eye, we'll give you the times as soon as we get them.
So the rain actually doesn't really usually affect the athletes. Once you're out there in it, once you are finally wet, it's not that big of a deal. So it's actually worse for the spectators. It's not something you notice as the athlete when you're going down the course. The only time it becomes an issue is if it becomes like a deluge of rain and your boat starts to fill up with water. But it doesn't look like it's raining quite that hard yet. So.
That actually maybe, Megan, you can speak to this better, but wind sometimes calms down. The water gets a little bit nicer when there's rain.
Yeah, it definitely does, and so it can flatten out nicely and provide great conditions for racing, maybe not so great for spectating.
So we are expecting thunderstorms later today, and obviously getting the races in is key with everyone traveling as far as they did. So definitely the goal to sneak these races in before the storm cells come. Hopefully not for a couple hours still.
Pretty dominant performance by Texas there. You see they're just rowing away. Business as usual.
So times here from that A final. Texas 1st in 6:15.1. Ohio State 2nd in 6:21.3. Washington State 3rd in 6:22.4. Syracuse 4th in 6:23.8. Wisconsin 5th in 6:25.4. Indiana 6th in 6:25.7. And Virginia 7th in 6:28.4. So about 13 seconds from 1st to 7th there, with Texas, as you said, certainly the clear winner.
It's interesting to note those times are pretty similar to comparable to what these teams went yesterday. Texas went 6:19 yesterday, so a little bit faster. But in terms of the other teams, they're all within a couple seconds of the time they pulled yesterday.
Yeah, and you compare it to the C final and the B final. I think there's a little less wind with that rain coming. That maybe